Finding God in Me. The Parables, Episode 7, Stories of Sincerity, Virtue, and Tolerance, Jesus and the Sincere Heart. One day, as Jesus walked with his disciples through a quiet village, a young man approached him. The man wore fine garments and carried himself with pride. He knelt before Jesus and said, "Teacher, I have kept all the commandments since my youth. I fast twice a week. I tithe on everything I own. Surely I am close to the kingdom of heaven." Jesus looked at him with gentle eyes and asked, "And do you love your neighbor?" "Of course," the man replied. "I greet them with respect and speak no evil of them." Jesus said, "Very well. Come, walk with us." As they continued on their way, an old woman appeared on the road. Her clothes were torn and she looked weary. She held out her hand and whispered, "Please, a little bread." The young man turned away, covering his nose. "Let her go. She's dirty and might be cursed." But Jesus stopped, knelt before the woman, and offered her food from his own satchel. Then he turned to the young man and said, "Let me tell you a parable. 2 men went to the temple to pray. One stood tall and declared, 'Lord, I thank you that I am not like other men, sinners, thieves, or this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give 1/10 of all I get.' But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even lift his eyes to heaven, but beat his chest and said, 'God, have mercy on me, a sinner.' I tell you the truth, it was the second man who went home justified before God. For sincerity is more pleasing to the Father than ceremony, and a humble heart draws nearer to heaven than a proud tongue." The young man lowered his head, and the old woman looked up at Jesus with tears of gratitude. And Jesus said to them both, "The kingdom of God is found not in appearances, but in the truth of the heart." The hidden lamp. One quiet evening, as Jesus and his disciples rested near a well, a traveler approached, dusty, weary, and with troubled eyes. "Teacher," the man said, "I try to live rightly, but the world does not see. What use is virtue if it goes unnoticed?" Jesus looked at him kindly and asked, "Do you see that small lamp beneath the basket?" The man nodded. "It is hidden now, and its light reaches no one," Jesus said. "But remove the basket, and it shines, even though it makes no sound." Then he continued, "A virtuous heart is like that lamp. Even if no one praises it, even if the world is blind to its light, it still pushes back the darkness. God sees what the world forgets." And the man, though still dusty and tired, left with a quiet peace in his heart. "Let your light shine before others," Jesus said to his disciples, "not for applause, but to show the way." The withered fig and the blooming thorn. One day, as Jesus and his disciples walked along a dusty road, they passed a barren fig tree. The disciples remembered how Jesus had once cursed a fig tree that bore no fruit, but this time he stopped and looked at it with a gentle gaze. Beside the tree, tangled in its roots, grew a thorn bush, its branches wild and full of prickles. A young man from the crowd scoffed, "Master, should we not tear down this useless thorn? It wounds every hand that nears it." Jesus knelt beside the thorn bush and plucked a single bloom, small but fragrant. "This thorn," he said, "has guarded the soil where no fruit would grow. It shelters creatures too small for you to notice. What you see as pain, it gives as protection." He stood and faced them. "Not all things must bear the same fruit. Not all people must speak the same words or live in the same way to be beloved by the Father." The disciples fell silent. Then Jesus said, "The tree that stands alone is still rooted in God's earth. Show tolerance, for even thorns may bloom." And they walked on, finding God in me, dedicated to bringing people closer to God.